Welcome back to our channel, where the tea is always hot and the drama never sleeps. Today is a great day to dive deep into the hidden corners of Genoa. Sit down, lean in, and make sure no one is eavesdropping, because what we're about to discuss is for you alone. An unexpected love scandal erupts when Claire discovers her mother is secretly seeing her ex-boyfriend, a shocking truth that strains the mother-daughter relationship between Victoria and Claire. Can you guess what happens next? Did you know that the most destructive fires often start with the smallest, most imperceptible sparks? Something that few people notice is how quietly a scandal brews before it explodes and destroys everything in its path. Come closer. I have a secret to share with you, a massive, earth-shattering revelation that is about to rock the very foundation of the young and the restless. We are talking about a forbidden romance, a taboo connection that is so scandalous, so utterly devastating, that it will leave you gasping for air. And this is the part that kept me awake at night. Victor Newman and Kyle Abbott are about to cross a line that can never, ever be uncrossed. Yes, you heard me right. The Ice Queen of Newman Enterprises and the Golden Boy of the Abbott dynasty are on a collision course with a scandalous affair that will leave a trail of broken hearts and shattered families in its wake. Are you as addicted to this impending disaster as I am? Let us peel back the layers of this beautiful nightmare. Before we get to the main event, we have to talk about the collateral damage that is already being left in Victoria's wake. Have you ever wondered what goes through a man's mind when he realizes he was nothing more than a pawn on a billionaire's chessboard? Poor Nate Hastings is about to find out exactly what that feels like. For months, we watched Nate compromise his morals, his family, and his career to stand by Victoria's side. He thought he was building a power couple empire, a partnership built on mutual respect and burning ambition. But something that few people notice is the cold, calculating detachment in Victoria's eyes when a man is no longer useful to her. Nate is going to be hit with the crushing, humiliating realization that Victoria merely used his affections, his loyalty, and his body to pass the time and consolidate her power. The moment Nate realizes he has been discarded, tossed aside like yesterday's news while Victoria sets her predatory sights on a much younger, much more controversial target, the psychological devastation will be absolute. He will be left standing in the cold, realizing that his entire romance with the Newman heiress was nothing but a transactional illusion. Did you know that Victoria Newman has a deeply ingrained psychological pattern of destroying the men who dare to love her? It is an addiction of her own. She craves the power, the control, and the inevitable destruction that follows her romantic entanglements. Nate is just the latest victim in a long line of men who thought they could thaw the Ice Queen. But this time, Victoria is not just playing with a corporate rival or a family friend. She is playing with absolute, unadulterated fire. She is targeting Kyle Abbott, a man who is intricately tied to the most vulnerable part of Victoria's carefully constructed life, her daughter, Claire Newman. And this is the part that kept me awake at night. Victoria knows exactly what she is doing. The danger, the taboo nature of being with her own daughter's former lover, is precisely what makes this impending affair so intoxicating for her. It is a toxic adrenaline rush, a rebellion against her own pristine image, and we, as viewers, are completely addicted to watching her spiral out of control. Now, let us whisper about Kyle Abbott. Oh, Kyle. He has been lost in a labyrinth of his own making, desperately trying to fix his parents' broken marriage, fighting endless corporate wars, and nursing a shattered heart. He spent so much time hoping that he could repair his fractured relationship with Claire Newman. He wanted to be her savior, her ultimate love story, the man who guided her out of the darkness. But as the days turned into weeks, Kyle has had to swallow the bitter pill of acceptance. His romance with Claire is dead and buried, leaving a hollow void in his chest. He is a man adrift, vulnerable, and craving a connection that does not require him to be the perfect, upstanding gentleman. Something that few people notice is how a broken heart can make a man do incredibly reckless, self-destructive things. Kyle is looking for an escape, a visceral rebellion against the suffocating expectations of the Abbott family. And who better to provide the ultimate, destructive escape than the most powerful, untouchable woman in Genoa City? Let us look at the exact moment this beautiful disaster is set to begin. According to the whispers from the set and the tightly guarded timeline for the week of June 1st to June 5th, Kyle and Victoria are going to have a seemingly innocent encounter that will change everything. Kyle, who has been fiercely clashing with Victoria over Victor Newman's latest tyrannical maneuvers, is going to soften his stance. He will approach her at the Genoa City Athletic Club, offering an olive branch, an apology for his recent explosive temper, and harsh words. They will sit down together in the elegant dining room. They will order coffee. It sounds so mundane, so incredibly ordinary, does it not? But did you know that the most dangerous affairs always start with a simple, unassuming cup of coffee? Picture the scene, the delicate clinking of porcelain, the rich steam rising between them, the sudden, unexpected shift in the atmospheric pressure of the room. Their eyes will meet over the rims of their cups, and instead of the usual corporate hostility and familial disdain, there will be a spark of raw, unadulterated curiosity. This is the genesis of their addiction to one another. And this is the part that kept me awake at night. The subtle, profound psychological shift that will occur during that fateful coffee date. Kyle will look at Victoria not as Victor's ruthless, calculating daughter, not as his sworn corporate enemy, but as a deeply complex, alluring, powerful woman. He will see the hidden vulnerability she conceals behind her tailored designer suits and her icy exterior. Victoria, in turn, will look at Kyle and see a man who is no longer a boy playing at business. She will see his passion, his undeniable fire, and his willingness to stand toe-to-toe with the titans of their world without flinching. The air between them will grow thick and heavy with unspoken desires and forbidden thoughts. They will toast their coffee cups to better days ahead, completely unaware or perhaps subconsciously fully aware that their better days are going to be spent tangled in a dark web of deceit and forbidden passion. It is a slow-burn romance that will make our screen sizzle with anticipation, and neither of them will have the moral strength to walk away. Why is this impending storyline so incredibly addictive? Because it is so wonderfully, horribly, catastrophically wrong. Something that few people notice is the underlying psychological warfare between the Abbotts and the Newmans that fuels this attraction. By sleeping with Victoria, Kyle is committing the ultimate act of defiance against his father, Jack, stabbing him in the back by betting the enemy. By sleeping with Kyle, Victoria is committing the ultimate, unforgivable act of betrayal against her own flesh and blood, her daughter Claire. It is a recipe for absolute, unmitigated catastrophe. They will both have a million logical, rational reasons to stay far, far away from each other. The historical family feuds, the disastrous corporate optics, the devastating emotional fallout, it should be more than enough to pour cold water on any romantic spark. But when has logic ever stopped a Newman or an Abbott from getting exactly what they want? The taboo nature of the relationship acts as a highly flammable accelerant. The more they know they shouldn't, the more they will desperately, frantically need to. The brilliant writers of our favorite soap opera are going to torture us with this slow burn, and we are going to love every agonizing, heart-pounding second of it. Did you know that a leaked behind-the-scenes photo has already confirmed that Victoria and Kyle are going to share a passionate, undeniable kiss in the near future? But they will not rush into it immediately. Oh no, they will make us wait, building the tension until we can barely stand it. There will be accidental, lingering brushes of the hand in the Newman boardroom while passing documents. There will be intense, smoldering glances across the crowded room at society, speaking volumes without a single word being uttered. There will be late-night, hushed phone calls where they pretend to discuss corporate mergers and stock prices, but the heavy breathing and the pregnant, loaded pauses will tell a completely different, highly erotic story. They will become hopelessly addicted to the secret, addicted to the thrilling danger of hiding their lust in plain sight. Every interaction will be laced with a dangerous, electric undercurrent that only they can feel. And we, the captive audience, will be holding our breath, waiting for the inevitable, glorious explosion. And then, the explosion will happen. Picture the exact moment the dam finally breaks and all rational thought is washed away. It will likely happen in the shadows, far away from the prying, judgmental eyes of the Genoa City elite. Perhaps it will take place in a dimly lit office long after hours, or in a secluded, private corner of the athletic club. The sexual tension will become a physical weight, utterly unbearable. Their whispered arguments will turn into desperate, breathless confessions of need. And then, Kyle will close the distance between them. He will grab Victoria, pulling her into a kiss that is fueled by weeks of repressed desire, frustration, and forbidden longing. Victoria, the infamous Ice Queen, will melt completely in his strong arms, surrendering her control to the overwhelming, intoxicating addiction of his touch. It will be a kiss that fundamentally changes the trajectory of both their lives forever. And this is the part that kept me awake at night. Knowing that once they cross that physical boundary, once their lips meet, there is absolutely no going back. The secret is sealed with a kiss, and their doom is assured. But a kiss is never just a kiss in Genoa City, is it? A kiss is merely the gateway drug to a full-blown, highly destructive, all-consuming affair. Something that few people notice is how quickly a single stolen moment escalates into a complex, exhausting secret life. Victoria and Kyle will not be able to stop themselves. The addiction will consume them entirely, overriding their common sense and their morality. They will find themselves inevitably tumbling into bed together, frantically stripping away their corporate armor, their family loyalties, and their inhibitions, leaving only raw, unfiltered, desperate passion. They will meet in secret hotel rooms, locking the heavy doors against the harsh reality of the outside world that seeks to tear them apart. In those stolen, sweaty hours, Kyle will forget all about his broken heart and his family's expectations, and Victoria will forget about the heavy, burdensome crown she wears as Victor's chosen heir. But they are flying too close to the sun. The higher they fly in their secret, Forbidden's paradise, the harder, faster, and more devastating their eventual fall to Earth will be. Because secrets of this magnitude, secrets with this much collateral damage, cannot remain hidden in the dark forever. Now, let us lower our voices to a devastated, heartbroken whisper as we talk about the true, innocent victim of this impending tragedy, Claire Newman. Did you know that Claire has placed her mother on an impossibly high, gleaming pedestal? After all the profound darkness Claire has endured in her young life, after all the terrible mistakes she has made and the trauma she has inflicted and suffered, Victoria was the one who offered her unconditional forgiveness, a loving embrace, and a safe harbor from the storm. Victoria is Claire's absolute hero, her shining example of strength, grace, and maternal devotion. And Kyle was Claire's first real, profound love. Even though she bravely claims she is over him and ready to move on, you never truly forget the first man who held your fragile heart in his hands. Kyle represents a time of lost innocence and desperate hope for Claire. To have the two most important, foundational figures in her life betray her in such a visceral, intimate, and deeply sexual way is a psychological cruelty that is almost painful to comprehend. And this is the part that kept me awake at night, playing the scene over and over in my mind like a horror movie I cannot turn off. The inevitable discovery. The precise moment the universe shatters into a million jagged pieces. Imagine poor Claire, walking into a room perhaps Victoria's executive office or a private luxury suite at the GCC expecting to find her mother. Expecting a warm smile and a comforting maternal embrace. Instead, she opens the heavy door and is greeted by a sight that will burn into her retinas and scar her soul for the rest of her life. She will see Victoria and Kyle locked in a passionate, undeniable embrace, or worse, completely tangled in the sheets of a forbidden bed, lost in their addiction to one another. The silence in that room will be deafening, sucking all the oxygen from the air. The look of absolute, soul-crushing horror on Claire's pale face will perfectly mirror the sheer, panicked, nauseating guilt on Victoria and Kyle's faces. In a single, agonizing heartbeat, the beautiful mother-daughter bond that Victoria fought so tirelessly to build will be instantly, irreparably pulverized into dust. Something that few people notice about putting people on pedestals is that the fall from them is almost always fatal to the relationship. Victoria will instantly plummet from her exalted status as the perfect, forgiving, loving mother. The power dynamic will be violently, tragically reversed. Victoria, the powerful woman who so graciously and benevolently forgave Claire's past transgressions, will now be on her knees, desperately, pathetically begging for her own daughter's forgiveness. She will plead, she will cry bitter tears, she will try to explain the unexplainable, toxic addiction that drove her into Kyle's waiting arms. But how do you possibly explain to your traumatized daughter that you were sleeping with the very man she used to love? How do you justify that level of ultimate, sickening betrayal? Claire's fragile heart will turn to solid ice. The trust will be completely gone, replaced by toxic, festering resentment that could very well push Claire right back into the psychological darkness she fought so incredibly hard to escape. Victoria may win a lover, but she will undoubtedly lose her child. The ripple effects of this scandalous, addictive affair will trigger a massive emotional tsunami across the entire landscape of Genoa City. Can you even begin to fathom the apocalyptic, earth-shattering wrath of Victor Newman when he discovers his golden daughter is sleeping with Jack Abbott's son? Victor will view this not just as a moral failing or a lapse in judgment, but as a catastrophic corporate betrayal and a treasonous act against the Newman family. He will unleash holy hell on Kyle, and he will look at Victoria with a level of disgust that cuts deeper than any physical knife, and Jack Abbott. The profound disappointment and blinding fury he will level at Kyle for crossing the ultimate, unforgivable line with the Newman will fracture the Abbott family to its very core. This affair is the lit match that will ignite a full-scale, scorched earth war between the two powerful dynasties, with poor, innocent Claire caught right in the agonizing crossfire, bleeding out from the emotional shrapnel. So, my fellow addicts of Genoa City drama, brace yourselves for the impact. We are standing on the precipice of the most scandalous, heartbreaking, and utterly mesmerizing storyline of the entire year. The slow, agonizing burn of Victoria and Kyle's forbidden romance is going to consume us all, keeping us glued to our screens. We will watch them fall into temptation, we will watch them cross the ultimate line, and we will watch them systematically destroy the lives of everyone they hold dear. Keep your eyes peeled on that seemingly innocent GCEC coffee date in early June, because that is exactly where the sweet, intoxicating poison is first poured. Did you know that the best, most unforgettable secrets are the ones that destroy absolutely everything? Lean in close, keep watching, and remember, you heard it here first, whispered in the dark.